Why would you not use this to secure your retirement? It just makes no sense to me. I don't get why people get so bent out of shape about using a reverse mortgage line of credit. It's weird to me. Anyway, so here we got my man Don Graves sent this to me, and I'm gonna have a. Hopefully, I'll go live with him. Well, maybe not live. But I'll do an interview with Don next week. We got a reverse mortgage line of credit for $308,000 here. And let's just say 308 divided by 0.4. So that's $750,000 house roughly. It gives you a $308,000 line of credit if you're 62, something like that. Which means you still have tons of equity having access. All right, so 750,000, you got 308, you still got 450,000 of equity that has been accessed. So it's not like they're going to take your house, be put out of your house. You got tons of equity. They only give you like 40% until you're like, I don't know the whole thing until like 75 or something like that before you get 50% or whatever. Anyway, so you can see this line of credit is growing each and every year. So you can see by this, and this is the line of credit grows by the current interest rates on the reverse mortgages. So 308 is our present value. Future value in 10 years is 584. All right, future value 308 is our present value. 10 years, zero payment. That's growing by 6.61% a year. All this is tax-free, by the way. And just because you have a line of credit doesn't mean you have any debt on it. Just because a line of credit, it's like a home equity line of credit, it just grows and grows and grows until you use it. And then it's still, the remaining line of credit is still growing by whatever the interest rates are. I just, well, it costs a lot to open. Like, yeah, I mean, refinancing a mortgage costs a lot too, by the way. And I talked to a couple people the other day, 2.25% of the mortgage refinance in 2021. That was smart. But it costs a lot of money. Yeah, it does cost some money. I mean, that's fact. But I mean, I'm sitting there thinking, do you not see the growth potential in this line of credit? Look at this. That's 6.61% a year. So 308,000, 584 in 10 years. It's 70, 80. It'd be 1.1 million when you're 80 years old. And it has nothing to do with the value of the home either, by the way. But that home is $750,000. We'll just say it grows by 3% a year. Present value 3% a year, 10 years, zero payment. The home is now $998 after 10 years, and your mortgage line of credit, your home equity line of credit is not home equity. Your reverse mortgage line of credit is $584. So even if you were to borrow the whole thing, you would still have $998 minus $584. It's still over $400,000 of equity. It's just weird, man. And now what you can do is you can take a 10-year payment. 10-year means that's every month for the rest of your life. You get $4,291 every month for the rest of your life. You could take 5-year term that just pays you 60 months at $12,380, whatever that, $12,389. A 10-year term is $7,283, all tax free. And the crazy thing I don't understand is why when people don't use this, or they just say, "Oh, you're an idiot for using it," is I'm going to show you something here. Here's our home equity that we have in the United States. You're going to see primary residence. By far and away, the biggest asset we have is our home equity. I can't really see that very well. Let me make it a little bit bigger. I'm making it bigger. Hold on a second, my friends. Hold on a second, amigos. Hold on. Did I make it bigger? Oh, I didn't make it bigger. I'll make it bigger. But anyway, so here's, let's do somebody right here. We'll do these guys right here because you got to be over 62 to do them. So 65, that's what's that? We want this one instead, right there. 55 to 64, their home equity, their home is worth, what does that say? 350. 65 to 74 is 320. 75 and older is I can't see 286. All right, so let's just do 65 to 74. Their house is worth 320, and then we're gonna go over to debt. And we're going to see debt, home secured debt. And their house, they're right there, 125. So they have over $200,000 of equity available to them. And this is the median group of people here. 50% have more, 50% have less. Why you would not consider that? Now, look, if you're going to move in 5 years, don't do it because the cost is too high. Kind of like you shouldn't refinance your loan if you're going to move in a couple of years. But if you're going to be sitting in that house for 15 years or so, and you're worried about running out of money, why not? It's just as weird to me not to do that. I don't understand. Like, people get really angry. This is crazy. I'm sitting there thinking, okay, let's just say, for instance, let's just say, going back to Don's example here, let's just say we use this whole 627, right? So remember, our house right now was worth 750 is worth, let's see, after 10 years, I can tell you, this makes sense. All right, so our line of credit, our house is $750,000 right here. It's growing at 3% a year, which means in year 10 it's going to be worth $1 million. Our line of credit is $584,000. So we're going to use our whole line of credit, 584, and we're going to say it's costing us, we'll just say 7% a year in interest. 584 is our present value. 7% a year is our interest. 10 years, zero payment. That means our future value on that loan is doubled, 1.1. But our home is also doubled, not doubled. Our home is also grown. So our home is worth $1 million at 10 years into this. 1 million is our present value, zero payment, 3% interest, 10 years. Our home is now worth $1.34 million. So we still have $340,000 of equity. I don't know what to tell you, man. Now, again, could that, and right here, by the way, we're now at 81 years old. We have $341,000 equity still. Now, could the equity be exhausted by the time 92 rolls around? It could be. Could absolutely be. Because we got after the next 10 years, that 7% interest right here would be a 1.806 we'd owe, 1.806. Now our house was worth what did we say? Hold on a second. What did we say? After 10 years, right here, if we use this as the worst case scenario, we took the whole thing out of the house, the whole thing out of the equity line right here. We borrowed the whole thing against that 584. All right, so by the time 20 years are up, we're going to owe about $2 million. So we go 584 times 2, because we're taking 7%. It'd be 1.15 million, 2.2 million is what we'd owe. And our house would only be worth 1.806 million, all right, because our house is only growing at 3%, the interest rate's growing at 7%. Again, no one's going to, I can't say no one, but the likelihood that you borrowing the entire line of credit right there isn't very high. But anyway, let's just say you did. All right, so now you have no equity. You're upside down in your house. You're 92 years old, upside down in your house. You die, your kids just walk away. They have no house value because there's no recourse loan, because that means they're not obligated to buy the house from the estate. They don't have to, just walk away. Yeah, they might have wanted the house, they might not have, and that would stink. But the likelihood of that happening is quite minimal, especially if the other alternative is that you run out of money and then you go have to live with your kids in a freaking bedroom. You see what I'm saying? It's like, that doesn't make any sense. Because again, I'm using the worst case scenario. That in this case, we're upside down in our home by the time we're 92 years old and we die. But even that, it's like, okay, the kids just don't get the house. They still get everything else that's in your estate. The bank doesn't come put you out. The bank doesn't do anything. The bank says, we take ownership of the house. Anyway, I don't know why you would not even consider doing it. You got to be 62 years old. You know, I'm not telling you to go rush out and buy it now or do it now. I don't know. But I'm just saying, it's like, dude, if you're worried about running out of money, why wouldn't you get a home equity reverse mortgage line of credit? Just let it grow. And if you never use it, more power to you. But if you got to tap into it on occasion when the markets go down 20% or something like that, tap into it. It's tax-free. You don't have to pay it back. You pay back at your estate. I mean, the bank doesn't just give you the money and say, hey, but you don't have to pay it back. It's paid back at your estate when you die. It's a good option, in my opinion. I'm certainly going to do it for sure, without question. All right, love your thoughts. God bless. We'll see you.